Piers,
Jesus,
no,
man.
what they
You
said
guys are
was, yes,
unbearable.
we should have reconciliation, but it is not without any contrition, right? It's not without a mea culpa. Charlie was accosted by Antifa at a breakfast in Philadelphia, and the video that I just played is you with a cartoon of him as Charlie Brown saying that he would love to be martyred so he could be the victim. Well, I guarantee you, his wife, who now doesn't have a husband, and his kids who don't have fathers, did not want him to be martyred.
What you just played isn't what
It's exactly what you said, brother.
It's
exactly
what you just said
what
it was.
Let's do it again.
No, it isn't.
We
just
again.
heard it. We just heard it.
It's not?
All right, so
it's not?
okay, no,
let's do it again.
Cut this crap out.
We all grew up with the expression, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can never hurt. Well, unfortunately, the world has taken a 180 degrees from that. Yes, sticks and stones will break our bones, and words can definitely hurt. We have seen that in the end results of Mr. Charlie Kirk's life. What possessed the assassin, 22-year-old, they say he was a bright individual, smart kid, 4.0, to wake up that morning on September 10 and assassinate Mr. Charlie Kirk? It was rhetoric and words that have flooded the social media, the web, the dark web, that influenced this 22-year-old. He's a young man, just had 22 years on this world. And yet, he was influenced by the words spoken. Mr. Charlie Kirk was not a politician, did not hold any office. He was a trailblazer in engaging with the young generation, to be able to engage in conversation and realize that all he was doing was talking. But yet, his talks were now silenced by this assassin. So we need to remember the power and the energy of words. I have a lot more I want to share with you about that, which we'll talk about it after we watch this interview with Piers Morgan, which is both very painful to watch and to hear, and to see both sides of the spectrum that exists now in America. Let's watch it together and we'll discuss it afterwards. Kindly subscribe to our channel so a little bit of light will push away a lot of darkness.
Somebody who used to identify quite happily as a liberal, I found myself completely disassociated from the woke left in a way I just never thought possible, where people on supposedly my side would start to become science deniers, biology deniers, but also develop this incredibly hateful mindset that if you didn't go along with everything that they believed, you would be cancelled, you'd be destroyed, you'd be shamed, you'd be vilified. And now, as we've seen with Charlie Kirk, you will actually be murdered in cold blood simply for having opinions that they don't like. It is, as I said at the start of this, it's unnerving. It's quite scary, actually. And when you see those TikTok videos of them so proudly talking about this, joyously celebrating a murder like that, I really do fear about what is going on.
Well, Piers, it's not even that it's about his actual opinions. It's about the opinions that many thought leaders on the left purport that he has, which are complete lies. So look, I am in somewhat of a reconciliatory mode here. So I'd like to ask Cenk, I have 10 headlines here he has put up about Charlie Kirk. They are on his channel right now, and let's see if Cenk believes that these are true. Charlie Kirk says prominent black women took white people's spots. Charlie Kirk boasts about his all-white basketball team. Charlie Kirk gives piggish advice to high school girls. Ex-employee exposes Charlie Kirk's grift. Charlie Kirk embarrasses himself. Charlie Kirk's brain melts explaining anti-vax conspiracy. Charlie Kirk rants about women in their 30s. Charlie Kirk has literally no clue how the real world works. Charlie Kirk gets triggered, declines appearance over pronouns. Charlie Kirk doubles down on women-hating backlash. I am telling you, Piers, Charlie Kirk was one of the best human beings I ever met. He did not have a bone of racism, misogyny, or anything else in his body. But liars lie, and they gin up otherwise good people. From the little bit we know about this shooter, he had a stable household, he was going to college, he was fine. We'll find out where he got radicalized. But please, please, let's not pretend we don't know where this stuff is coming from. And please, let's not pretend that this thing is going both ways, because it is absolutely not. I also have well, you know what, Cenk, I'll ask you a question directly, actually. Do you think Charlie wanted to be martyred? Do you think Charlie wanted to be martyred? Do you think Charlie wanted to be killed? Yes or no?
Of course not. What kind of asinine question is that?
You don't? You don't? Because that's pretty interesting. Because here's a video of you, Cenk, talking when Charlie was at a breakfast.
It allows for easy martyrdom for these guys, and they don't deserve it. But I do also want to point out, as they're in the middle of crying now, although Charlie was smiling ear to ear throughout the entire video, thinking, yes, I'm now the victim, and I'll get to claim that my rights have been
infringed. Did you catch the beginning of that, Cenk? Listen, we'll do it again.
No, I didn't, and that's totally out of. No, we're not going to do it again. Totally out of context. I don't even know what the hell you're talking about.
No. Listen, brother.
Are you trying to get harm
for
on
1
me?
second.
Is that what you're trying to do,
clown.
you loser? Jesus Christ.
No. I'm trying to
do
expose
conciliation,
exactly
except
what
this
people
guy.
like you
Look at the
have
last
done.
two things that your last two guests said.
Piers.
Jesus,
no, what they
you
said
guys are
was, yes,
unbearable.
we should have reconciliation, but it is not without any contrition, right? It's not without a mea culpa. Charlie was accosted by Antifa at a breakfast in Philadelphia, and the video that I just played is you with a cartoon of him as Charlie Brown saying that he would love to be martyred so he could be the victim. Well, I guarantee you, his wife, who now doesn't have a husband, and his kids who don't have fathers, did not want him to be martyred.
What you just played isn't what
It's exactly what you said, brother. It's exactly
what you just said it was.
Let's do it again.
No, it isn't.
Let's
we
do
just
it again.
heard it. We just heard it.
It's not?
All right, so
it's not?
No,
let's do it again.
Cut this crap out.
Come on,
no,
we'll do it again.
Piers, can we talk about reality? This is something he's going back to like 10 years.
Well, I think Cenk should be allowed to respond.
What I said there.
And they don't deserve it.
It allows for easy martyrdom for these guys, and they don't deserve it. That was when Antifa was going after him at a breakfast in Philadelphia.
Okay, so let's let Cenk respond to that.
No, that was about words, you moron. Okay, Jesus Christ, man. All right, so now let's get to reality, okay? Shut up.
There's a massive loss here on a human level of a very bright, successful young man who, like you said, he didn't smoke, he didn't take drugs, he wasn't a party guy. He was committed to his beliefs, and he was committed to, spreading the word of his beliefs, but also allowing people to debate with him about those beliefs. That's what a democratic society should be about. And yet here he is now, dead at 31, because somebody was incapable of listening to his beliefs without wanting to kill him.
Yeah, Piers, look, this is a guy, I don't talk about it that often. I happen to be gay. It's not a big deal. I've been married for over 10 years. And I've sat with Charlie and my husband and his wife and talked about marriage and talk about the differences there and all of those things. And we talked it out. That's what Charlie was great at. I do have to say, though, on the political side of this, for where this conversation has got heated, it seems to me that everyone agrees that Donald Trump is not Hitler and his supporters are not Nazis. So with that in mind, I'd like to read some other headlines. These are video titles from Cenk's channel. And if in the spirit of reconciliation, maybe he wants to delete these things. Trump cuts anti-Nazi program. Trump spreading Nazi propaganda. Nazis encouraged by Trump's Charlottesville response. Trump defends Nazis, very fine people. That is the biggest political hoax ever. Trump retweets a neo-Nazi again. Trump disappoints neo-Nazi supporters. So these things don't come out of nowhere. I only blame one person at the end of the day for these murders, which is the crazy person who does the murders. But pretending that what is wildly asymmetrical, I think I have laid that out with evidence here, pretending that it's symmetrical is deeply, deeply dangerous. Piers, you know this because we've discussed it on my show. Even on your show, you have found it way more difficult to find rational, decent people on the left who will explain themselves thoughtfully and calmly and everything else, while the panoply of people you get on the right, who shouldn't even be on the right, I would say certainly someone like me, I don't know exactly where Batya considers herself, but people with a variance of political opinions that now broadly are part of the MAGA thing, is because of what I just read you, the endless hysteria of the left that has ginned up people to do crazy things. It's not to say you can't say the worst things. You want to say the worst things? Donald Trump's a Nazi. It's so tough to say. You want to say that? Go ahead and say it. It falls on the person who pulls the trigger. But if we're all sitting here saying, yeah, it's not true that Donald Trump's a Nazi, and it's not true that his supporters are Nazis, and he's not Hitler and all of those things, well, then before you get to reconciliation, a little bit of a mea culpa by some of us might be valuable.
Cenk?
Yeah, I mean, look at this. This is disgusting. So this guy pretending to do conciliation, and
right.
I was going to be conciliatory towards Dave if I spoke first, but apparently that's not what he's doing at all. So what he's trying to do is get people angry in a misleading way against me. Are you trying to get
those
people
your
to be
titles?
violent?
Are those the titles of your videos?
This is disgusting.
No.
So no.
that's-
Let me explain.
no.
Let me explain.
Those are your
so,
titles.
No,
buddy.
let me explain. You're asking me a goddamn question, so let me explain while you're trying to get people to do violence against
illustrating
me.
my point
You're
perfectly.
disgusting. So
No,
those are 80% of those
I just
titles.
said-
I've never called Trump a Nazi, and those titles were about neo-Nazi reactions. So what do you want us to do? Not tell
So
you
very fine
what's
people.
actually
Did that
happening?
happen?
And
Did
so
Donald-
look.
Did Donald Trump side with neo-Nazis?
Yes, he
the
did
very
say
fine
that.
people incident
So-
in Charlottesville?
So
he
as
did it. Piers,
we've
how about you
explained
handle
on the
this
Young
one instead of giving it
Turks,
to me? Piers,
Can
you
I
wanna
just
handle this one?
talk? So this monster
What did
is
Donald
trying to
Trump-
egg on violence
What did Donald
as we
Trump
speak,
say after very
and he
fine
won't
people?
even let
I'm
me
not
talk.
talking about the neo-Nazis or the white supremacists who should be condemned completely. It's the biggest debunked conspiracy theory of all time. You're still pushing that now? You're still pushing the very fine
No,
people hoax
listen,
now? I'm
what-
shocked even for you.
Dave, shut up and let me answer your stupid question. So on that day, which now we're going back to that for no goddamn reason other than you're trying to get people angry at me for misleading things. Didn't
I'm reading
Donald
your
Trump say there are
titles. You
very
should
fine
be angry
people
at
on
your
both sides?
titler.
He did. Shut up and let me answer. So did he say there are very fine people on both sides? He did. So that's a fact. Now, who was he referring to? As we've explained on the Young Turks, he might have been referring to the people who were in favor of the Confederacy and came out there to support Confederate generals. I didn't find that to be any better. Those people were in favor of slavery. Those people lynched black people. So I'm not going to ever cheerlead for them, and I'm not ever going to shut
Jake,
up
in the very
about
next
the terrible
sentence, in the
things
very
that
next sentence, did he say,
some
I'm not
people on
talking about the
right
white
say.
supremacists
so
or
you're
the
not going to get
neo-Nazis
me to
who should
shut
be
up,
condemned totally.
and you are against speech, and you're the one trying to smear people. So let me be super clear, and let me outrage
reading your
everyone
titles,
on all
brother.
sides, and then try to bring people together.
It is so pathetic to be able to hear such a conversation in a public forum. The concept that Charlie Kirk was presenting to the world and at the college campuses is dialogue. That we have to remember that God gave us a gift to the human beings, the gift of communication, the ability to talk to each other, not to shout at each other, not to call each other names, not to use the power of the words in a way that's inappropriate. We have been taught at a very young age to always think before you talk. Always calculate what you're going to say. If what you're going to say is going to bring positivity, and the end result is going to be a positive end result, then by all means, go ahead. I remember as a child in school, we were taught words are like angels. That when you talk good words, you're creating positive angels, and those angels are going to be there to protect you. But if you talk bad words, then you're creating bad angels that are going to be there to take you down. So it's so important, just think about it on a very more practical level. We're living in a time of age where you look at almost every consumable product has a list of ingredients. And if you ever took the time to read them, you could probably not even pronounce them or know how to even say those ingredients. But yet, we are conscientious about what comes into our bodies. Are we as conscientious what goes out of our bodies? The words that comes out of our mouth. Are we as careful with what comes out of our mouth than what comes in. And that's a very good metaphor. It's always good for us to be on the guard, on the lookout, and to ask yourself a question. When someone really gets your gout, really gets you going, and they want to engage and incite you, pause for a moment before you react and think to yourself, if what you're going to say now is going to escalate or de-escalate. So the gift of speech is a gift that God has given us, and we need to use it in its appropriate ways. We know since October 7, the last 2 years, the world has been on edge. We're talking about 3 years ago when the war in Russia and Ukraine, and then the war in Gaza, and the various wars that's been going around, and the threats of nuclear, the threats of World War III, God forbid. The world has been on edge. But a lot of the downfall is because of the rhetoric, because of the words that are both written and spoken, the myths, the lies, the untruths that is being spouted throughout the internet and social media and the legacy news, and without any fact-finding, just to incite. So here we have a chance to use our mouth, to use our words, to use the gift of communication to build people up, to be able to help calm down the fears and to lower the flames of war, or to lower the sounds of the drums of war with words and with a positive twist versus always being negative. Think about how the world has attacked Israel for every single step in the war that they have been prosecuting in Gaza. And how much condemnation has gone to Hamas for the atrocities, the barbaric attack that they did on October 7. And think about it. Are we siding with the right side of the history? It has been abundantly clear now who is with life, who's with death. Who's a life cult, who's a death cult. Where's light, where's darkness, where's good, where's evil. Israel in all of its wars has never, ever targeted civilians. War is bad for everyone. There's always going to be collateral damage. Israel has taken every measure possible to prevent collateral damage, versus Hamas is just the opposite. They are a death cult. They targeted the 1,200 civilians on October 7. They took 250 civilians hostages. They're still holding on to the hostages, not only the live ones, even the dead ones. Why isn't there world condemnation on that? The world is just beating up Israel. Israel is just trying to free those hostages and to rid the evil out of Gaza so that the Gazans can become free people and that Israel can have secure borders. Israel has a right to exist because God has given Israel to the Jewish people. Charlie Kirk made that case over and over again. It's in the Bible, indisputable. The title to the property is Israel. So not only did Israel acquire the land of Israel, that the Jews acquired it because God gave it, we also conquered it. Any country that conquers, you conquer it, you win. Those that lose, reestablish somewhere else. Israel conquered Israel and has been in possession of Israel. It's time that the world appreciates its right to exist, both on the biblical and just basic wars and victory. The victor gets to hold on to the possession that they won. That's survival of the fittest in a very pragmatic way, but more in a spiritual way. God gave Israel to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It belongs to Jewish people. And the world needs to accept that. Well, Mr. Charlie Kirk was a great defender of the Jewish people in Israel, and for this we are so grateful. He was brave, outspoken. His untimely assassination is a tragedy for all of us. We can't change what happened, but we're going to change how we react. We're going to get stronger, and we're going to fight this evil together, because we are always stronger together. God bless you. God loves you.